Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to another amazing episode of Boss Talks. And if this is your first time, once again, welcome. If this isn't, you know that there's a fee, and we're completely taking this from Andy Priscilla. If this is of value to you, just share it out. That's all we want. Tell people what you learned, why you like it, and what it did for you. And yeah, let's just get it going. Today we have the CEO of factorybuyers.com.au, the co-founder. We've had his mate on here before, his partner, Shane. But today we've got Nathan Longhurst. Now, this guy's famous. Like, he's all over social media. And to be honest, like, the reason, like, he gets mentioned on this a fair bit, you know, because like on this podcast. So I thought I'd put a face to the name so you know who I'm talking about when I reference these guys that run this amazing business that they don't take no for an answer. They're actually 10x. They actually follow what they say, and yeah, there's no excuses. So, mate, welcome.
Mate, thanks for having me. And I am a listener. I pay the fee quite regularly. I always enjoy listening to you and Christine dropping bombs. And here we are, mate. I'm ready to rock and roll.
So, like, today, I want to talk about something you would have probably had come up for you and Shane, and you know, anything that successful people seem to do. And like, there's also another version I want to speak about too, because I'm actually a little bit sick of it. So I'm a bit fired up about it actually, but it's tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah. You
know, you guys have gone from what would be seen as just normal blokes.
Yep.
To flying all around the world. You got some nice cars, you got some nice stuff happening, and you got a successful business, you know, and you're not scared to get out there and tell people to have a go, which brings a bit of fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, tell me about like a time that you might have received a bit of that, and how you handle it and what you think about it.
Well, I'll just go back a step, mate. In your intro, you actually you said you had my mate Shane on earlier. You use that word very loosely. He's a good guy. But no, tall poppy syndrome. It's a real thing, dude. And in Australia too, particularly Australia, it's bigger than anywhere else I've been in the world. We don't have a culture that I suppose accepts and promotes, and you know, has any sort of positive vibe to people going outside of the norm and having a crack and getting things done. But you know, we do. You're right, Shane and I do like to talk a bit about you know, what we do. We're active on social media. We like to document and share our journey, and you know, try to help people where we can. And that does, you know, get attention, both positive and negative. And it's, yeah, look, I'll go back a bit. I want to get to a specific example of this that I really, really actually enjoy. But my background's a bit, I've come from the corporate space, and I've always had very, in, you know, most people's terms, successful roles, high roles. I've come, you know, in senior leadership positions, and I've had the job security. So I've operated in you know, leadership roles where I've had the company car, I've had the added superannuation, we've got the bonuses, very secure roles. So when Shane and I decided to go out in a full-time capacity into Factory Buyers, I copped a lot of criticism. And I copped a lot of criticism from people who, you know, were colleagues but also mates. And there's one that comes to mind particularly. This guy was the customer service manager for a business I was working with at the time. And he pulled me aside and told me, mate, you're mad, you're an idiot, you're leaving, you're going to throw all this away. You've got this safe job, you've got this secure job, you've got this, you know, great benefits, company cars, insurances, you know, blah, 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 blah. This is going to fail. You know, everybody, you know, sees a video online and thinks they can do it. But, mate, there's people better than you that have tried and failed. You know, I'm telling you as a mate, this isn't going to work. You're going to fuck it up. Anyway, so we can get into the detail down the track, but we'll fast forward probably 6 months. This guy came to me and asked me for a job. He said, I want to leave what I'm doing. I'm watching your journey. It's motivating me. I love it. I want to come and work for you. So that was probably my biggest fuck you moment to the people that, have that approach to you. So, I love that one.
Yeah. Oh, well, what I'm saying is like, not so much coming towards me, because like, I guess my turn. I've had my turn.
Yeah.
And I'm smart enough to know that I've got another couple of turns coming back, because if that upset what I was doing before upset people, I'm gonna really upset them in the future. But
yeah.
What I see is like other people that are out there having a go. The ones that are like probably halfway through to where we are now. We might be looking to Grant Cardone status or something like that where we want to go. But there's people that have started more recently than us and maybe are halfway there, and they're just starting to get a sniff of success. They're just starting to like, build their coaching business or build their business up and start to the changes are happening for the positive. And you just see like cockroaches running from person to person, like seeing if they can collect an army of people to try to take these people down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I think that's weak.
Yeah.
And I see it a lot. And like, I just think that in a lot of cases, these people are trying to build businesses there on their own. Like I'm talking about the cockroaches.
Yeah.
They're building businesses on their own. And it's the old thing. And I know you don't agree with everything that Gary Vee says, but like this metaphor of like, they're claiming that they're going to own the biggest building in town, but the way they're doing it is to tear other buildings down.
Yeah, sure.
And that's where I like draw the line in the sand and think, well, you know what? If you spent a quarter of as much time building your business as you are running around, hitting Messenger in the background, collecting little bits of info and making shit up, thinking that you're Sherlock Holmes, and creating these stories in your head about how bad or good or whatever someone is or you are, or an industry like anything, but really you'd be a million miles in front. Maybe you would have a bigger building if you just spent the time shutting the fuck up and doing your work, doing your work and learning the skills you need to learn to build your business, rather than, someone might have leapfrogged you, and you might not think that's fair, and you've got to come up with some excuse in your head why that is the way it is. And they must be a terrible person, or they must be, and hell, maybe they are. Yeah. But what's that got to do with you?
That's right.
And that's the point I'm making. And that's the tall poppy syndrome I'm talking about, because it can affect people on the journey. Like someone, like the cockroaches don't bother you anymore.
Yeah.
They don't bother me anymore. But maybe when I was first kicking off again, they would have worried me.
Yeah.
When I wasn't didn't have the calluses on my skin. So weigh in on that, man.
So there's nothing worse than that. You see somebody like you said who's in the infancy of their journey, and they're starting to see a little bit of success. They're gaining some momentum, and then some dickhead who is jealous, we'll just use the word jealous, decides to go and throw all this shade on them, and they get that encouraged, disheartened that they stop doing it, and then it ruins all their progress, and who knows what that person could have become. And what it really is, it's these people, it's them speaking about themselves more than somebody else. So I always say to people, I say to my group all the time, look, be a cheerleader. The world is big enough for all of us. So you used coaching as an example, and I know you used network marketing example a lot. I don't know the numbers offhand, but I know they're like 2 of the top 5 biggest growing industries on the planet. So if you're trying to belittle somebody's action when they're putting effort in to grow, and you're doing that because you think by tearing them down you're actually going to pump yourself up, you're mad, because there's enough for all of you. And if you look at really, really successful people, and I'll use Andy Frisella as an example because you mentioned him at the beginning of this podcast. I listen to his podcast all the time, religiously. Same as I do Boss Talks, mate. But he had, I can't remember the guy's name for the life of me now, but he had his last podcast was a guy who came on and spoke about email marketing. And this guy owns a supplement business, and he does 9 figures a year. He's in Andy Frisella's Arate syndicate, and he's in direct competition with Andy Frisella. And this guy is actively promoting his business because he knows that he's out there in an effort to do good. And if he wins, they both win together. The industry wins as a whole. The pie gets bigger. So, it's cockroaches is an awesome way to describe it, because it's just them dealing with their own insecurities and trying to make themselves feel better about themselves for either A, not having the level of success that the person they're criticising is having, and it usually comes down to just effort on their part, them not having the balls to go and do it.
Yeah, the choice. Yeah, so Andy Frisella often mentions Jocko.
Yeah,
it's another guy who's in direct competition with him,
Mm-hmm.
but not really. You know, he is, but he isn't.
Yeah.
And they're actually friends. They can go and have a beer together. Well, not for 75 days, but you know, and you know, and as you said, like if you stomp on someone, they you could be stomping on someone who is about to lead on to cure cancer or do something amazing, or be the next Apple or the next, you know, it could be anything like that. And when you do that, when you stomp on someone else's success, you're actually telling the universe or the energy or whatever out there, you're telling the world that you hate success.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever you're telling it, it's going to bring more, it's going to bring back to you. And Andy Frisella, of all the people that you would think wouldn't probably believe in the spiritual side of business, like he's one of the biggest like cheerleaders of that.
Yep.
You know, and he believes that if you say, if you're bagging people out or you're hating on someone else's success, you are literally bringing less success into your own life. So if you want to evolve from being a cockroach, you're not doing it the right way if you're hating on people. And you know, I've had people on coaching calls that are freaking out about network marketers reaching out to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, I'm going to abuse this one." I'm like, "Hang on a minute. How do you know that person hasn't just been signed up and they've sat there in front of that computer for the last hour, freaking out, working up the courage just to send that message out, and they've been told by their upline or their sponsor, like, hey, it's a numbers game. Just hit people up."
Yep.
Because maybe that person hasn't been shown how to build relationships either. And that person's just out there having a go because they want something more. They want something more. They want to have a better life for their family. And, you know, they could be broke. They could be living in a shitty area of town. They want to live in a better town. Like, doesn't matter. How do you know that you ripping on them isn't going to crush them and leave them in poverty? Like,
that's right.
There's karma attached to that.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. So, like, just like I've got clients at it. I actually said, "Oh, cool. Like, is this your only business? What else do you do?" And you just get a conversation going. You can feel, you know, like you can't see it.
Someone's
like,
talking to me. You know,
my God. And, you know, like you can say, "No, thank you for thinking about me, but like I'm cool with what I'm doing at the moment." How hard's that?
Yeah.
That's less effort than telling them to F off.
Yeah, yeah. And
So,
you never know what people, you know, personal relationships can bring to anyone that's ever built anything worth note has not done it alone. It's done it, you know, by building a team. And if you go out of your way to, you know, belittle people and belittle their efforts and bring them down in an effort to pump you up, you're limiting your chances of, you know, any type of JVs or, you know, growth within yourself in that industry too. It's just crazy. But yeah, like you said, if somebody's trying to benefit themselves and better themselves, to, you know, get their kids out of poverty or, you know, put food on the table, you know, your actions and what you say and how you respond, you know, can actually, you know, stop people from fulfilling that dream. So
it's a big one. Yeah. Yeah. Like, and it's funny, like people can knock the network marketing industry all they like. At the start, I was a little bit, like everyone, it was a new thing. Even though I had success elsewhere, I hadn't been successful online, and this is definitely online.
Yeah.
But through this, right, like people can look right now. That photo where it was like a girls' night out, and I was the only bloke there, and you were bagging me out of here. It was a bit of fun.
I don't know, bagging you out or jealous, but
well, like through that connection, through being at that conference, I know. Like that woman, like there's one lady there. Her name's Lauren LaHave. She's worked for Tony Robbins for like 30 years.
Yeah.
She is currently over in America speaking all around the country with the National Achievers Congress, with Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, and like guys from Shark Tank, and she's literally a speaker on the same stage as them. They're not selling anything. There's no sale. It's just like quality people, and you don't get on a stage with Tony Robbins if you're a dickhead.
Yeah, sure.
You know, like, or I'm sure there's exceptions to the rule, but like in this case, like that's a really strong lineup, and through just saying yes and not being like closed-minded to an opportunity like 3 years ago, like I'm linked to people like that.
Yeah.
And they're the sort of people, and this is not why I did it, but it's just it's a great side effect. They're the sort of people that can open doors for you.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it's just that if you were to work on your own, it could take 10 years to do.
Yeah.
So how do you know that person isn't like 6 degrees of separation away from the person that you need to meet that's going to change your life? Like someone's husband could be a better importer of goods, have a bigger supply chain for your business, or I don't know, like could be like a digital marketer who's just next level. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So like, just pulling your head in for 5 minutes and is another thing. But
so thinking about how you do that, you mentioned that, you know, you and I, that won't bother us now. But if I think, even today, we shared something before this podcast started just around the success that one of my coaching clients had. And I put it on Instagram, on an Instagram story, and I got some negative feedback from there from people who I've known for, I've known this dude for years, decades, right? And straight away came back, this guy's, you know, had his best month ever from by implementing some strategies that we put in place. And straight away it was, oh yeah, but how come this? Or how much were they doing? What was the actual return? What was the conversion rate? Just going out of their way to try to put a negative spin or twist on it. And then you're right, I just like, yeah, fucking whatever, you know, problem solved. But if somebody in their infancy of their journey hasn't got that thick skin enough, they might go, shit, you know, am I good enough for this? And, you know, you just got to be so careful because you are preventing people from becoming the best version of themselves.
At the beginning, like I said it on Mike, I had a coaching call today, and like I had like 13 or 14 people on there, and they're all individuals. They want to build their businesses. They're going into the digital space, and they got fear around it. And I remember the fear I used to have, and I said, hang on a minute, there were times where I felt like I was a fraud. Yeah. Does anyone ever on here in any of their businesses or even right now feel like they're a fraud? Like, who am I to teach? Yep. And they all put their hand up. Sure. And I felt the same. Now, they're in the position now where someone giving them shit could crush an amazing future. Like, there was a time when Grant Cardone was walking out of rehab. Yep. You know what I mean? And now look at him. He's pushing $1 billion in real estate.
He's got it.
Yeah, he's got it. He actually did it.
One in holdings. So.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you know, and how do you know? Like, that could have, like, the story goes, he got bagged out on the way out the door, and he, like, I don't know, a bit of mongrel in him, like, thought, well, I'll show you. And, you know, I think I'm lucky to have a bit of that myself. Like, righto. Now, I wasn't going to do it, but now I really am. I'm going to go make $1 billion. But yeah, like some of these other people that are out there, yeah, you're right. They'll believe it. Yeah. And they'll stop. And then how does that help society? Like, how does that help them have more money to spend at your shop, or create like more tax to pay for better schools for your kids to go to? Like, like there's just no upside to being negative.
No, not at all, none whatsoever. If you're trying to build something and people are being negative toward it for no reason, so if they've had a bad experience with your product or service, and then you can take that as feedback or, you know, constructive criticism, but particularly from people that you know who see a change in you and see you trying to change for the better, it's just, it's demoralising. I can see how it you know, stops people from keeping on.
And it's easy to throw shit from at people from the cheap seats.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, like you can, you know, like you look at the Tony Robbins events, right? Like there's the platinum partners up the front. Now, I don't even know how. Like, I think it's a cosmic fluke that I think like this. I'm so lucky. I think I am one of the lucky ones in that regard. But when I saw the platinum partners, when I see people in a nice car, when I see someone win,
Yep.
I'm like, holy shit, that's so good, man.
Mm.
And then I start thinking, well, what have I got to do to deserve to be up the front too?
Yeah, sure.
What have I got to do? Like when you go around the lakes around here, the waterways, and you see those huge houses, I'm like, what did those dudes do? And what do those women do to get that house? They must have done something pretty special. Like they must have worked really hard. I wonder if I knocked on their door, they'd tell me how they did it.
Yeah.
You know, like I was saying earlier on the call, like I had a mentor of mine say that he just at 75 bought his dream property. Like he's got lots of properties, like he's done a lot of property, but this is a brand new McDonald's, BP, like brand spanking new on an amazing road. He said, I just never thought I'd ever get there. Like it's my dream property. And like he rang me just to sort of share the win. Like now I didn't have any, like I was like cheering him. Like I'm so happy for him. It was like I'd owned it myself. Like I'd done it. I was that happy and that grateful that he was able to do that, you know, while he's still around. And then I asked him, like after I cheered him, I was like, so how does a young fella like me get something like that? You know what he did? Like he said, oh mate, like you got to do this and that. You just keep doing what you're doing. You'll get there. Bugger me at 3:30 the next morning, a.m. This guy who's set, still looking for deals.
Yeah.
At 3:30, he's up at 3:30 in the morning so he can beat everyone else to the deal.
Yep.
And he literally sent me an email of exactly how he did it.
Yeah.
Numbers broken down, exactly what I'd need to do, show them, and like the just next level stuff, man.
Yeah.
And like, what a gift.
Like I say, winners want to see other people win. So
he really does. Like he genuinely, because I don't want to say it's because he's got enough, because I believe even if he didn't have enough, he'd still want to see me win.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, successful entrepreneurs, they're happy to take your money when you lose.
Yeah.
But you're still part of the group.
Yeah, correct.
So I just, I hope that's coming across as like how to succeed. Like, because I do want to ask you about that.
Sure.
There's been times in your life maybe when you weren't successful.
Yep.
And then there's a pattern that you've used, probably some steps, some mindset, some ways of thinking that have created success for you to be like, because like I see you as only just getting started.
Yeah, so do I.
Like, oh my God, I like, I think Amazon's got to watch out. So, mate, hit us up with some, like, share how you do it.
I don't want to say the words that I will. You know, you become a product of your environment. So who you surround yourself with is probably the most important piece of advice that I could give to anybody. So if you, for example, if all your friends are volleyball players, chances are you're going to start playing volleyball. Right? So if all your friends, go back to what we were talking about earlier, all your friends are negative, you know, whinging, complaining, you're going to be put in that environment. You're going to become a product of your environment. So if I look back at any time where I haven't been where I wanted to be in any aspect of my life, it was usually my environment. You know, I wasn't immersed or surrounding myself with the right information or the right people to improve. So you need to know, you know, what you want to do. So where you want to go. You don't need to know how you're going to get there necessarily, but you need to have a goal. And then you need to work on putting a plan in place, because if you've got a goal without a plan, it's just an idea. You need to actually, you know, surround yourself with the right people and draw it out on paper and you know, get moving with it. So if I look at it from a business perspective, we knew that, you know, we were on some people's definition of success, working in the corporate space, but it was not enough for us. You know, we were tied to a desk. It's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to travel. We wanted to be able to have the freedom to do other things. So, you know, we started something small and we just built on it. But I don't know if that waffle is going to help anyone, but understanding what you want to do is definitely the starting point. Mm-hmm. And then surrounding yourself with the tools and the people and eliminating the roadblocks to allow you to build that plan and get from A to B.
Mate, like I think the gold for me there, the nugget that I just took from that is like, it's okay to start small. Like you guys have got a multi-million-dollar business and it doesn't matter how quickly you got there. Like it's great that you got there quickly, but you were willing to start small. And I think that's what a lot of people miss out on. They're comparing your chapter like 20 to their chapter 1.
Yeah.
Instead of comparing where you guys started, like, just wanting, what was it? You just wanted some beer money.
Some beer money. So we just wanted some beer money, and we both had a passion for travel. So if we could, generate enough income to put us on a holiday once a year each, we'd be happy. And I've got another mate of mine who has got a watch business, and he talks about how he's just bought himself his dream car. I don't know what it is, some Mercedes thing. And how he did it was he just made $50 off doing one sale, and then he just repeated that process. So he didn't, pardon me, say to himself one day, right, I'm going to go and sell everything so I can get this Mercedes. He goes, I'm going to go and sell something so I can make $50 profit, and then I'm going to do that again and again and again and again, and then it just compounds. You build momentum, and then you go from good to great.
Yeah, so like something that Andy Priscilla says is like what the gurus don't tell you is like it's all right to burn the boats, it's all right to make these big decisions, and you're a different person now, but the success comes from the monotonous stuff that you got to do every day. And no one glorifies that because they don't like I see it all the time, right? You see these people that like to sit on rocks and meditate things into their life, and I know that has a place, but it doesn't replace action.
Correct. And
there's so many people out there thinking that they're going to just attract like all this amazing stuff, and you might feel good. But is it really, is it really serving you? Like you actually need to do the work. You want to vibrate at a higher level, you've actually got to move.
Correct. Yeah.
And I think that doesn't sound fun, and it's not fun.
No.
Like I can't tell you how many times, like think about it, like 18 years in supermarkets. And I have to admit, I wasn't the one opening the door forever, but at the beginning when I was working 7 days a week, open to close, there were times I didn't want to open that door, especially when I was a young fella and there was the odd big Friday night and big Saturday night. I'm coming in, needing a lift because I wasn't sure if I could drive yet because I was partying. But anyway, so I can tell you what 10 o'clock felt like around a hot chicken oven, or, it wasn't really that good. But I still did it.
Yeah.
I did it no matter what because I shut the door on any excuses. There was just no way that I could do it because if I shut those doors, my clients, my customers would go to Woolies. And they'll get into the habit of going to Woolies and think, shit, Woolies is pretty good at this time of day. And then I'll lose them.
Yeah, but you know what? People struggle with that a lot more now, more so than ever too. It's because we live in this social media world and people just see all the bullshit that's on Instagram, and they see, people have to remember when people put things on social media, it's the highlight reel of their life, right? So if somebody's, posting something about, building something, they're going to show you the successes, but they're not going to show you all the monotonous, gritty crap that you got to do day in, day out to get there. Now, some people will, but you don't see it, or people fall into the trap of they watch some dickhead with a six-pack or girl with big boobs in a bikini standing in front of a rented Lamborghini saying, buy this $3,000 course and it's, within 5 minutes you're going to be a millionaire. It's all money. You don't have to do any work. It's total fucking bullshit. But people believe it and they buy into it, and they don't get that it takes, to build anything of substance. There's a whole heap of, 10 a.m.s in front of chicken ovens when you work 65 hours, 3 days in the last 3 days, and they don't see that because people are only displaying the highlight reel on social media, and that makes it a lot more difficult these days for people to understand, I think. So
it's funny, the one button sick algorithm breaking, 90% automated, make like 5 figures every week. Like. You know what? I look at that and I say, show me their bank account. Because the only way they're making money is by selling it to idiots that are buying it.
You got to think to yourself, if that's true, that's the case, what are they doing selling it to you for $2,000? They're making more money if they just repeated that process. So
exactly. Yeah. Wow. There you go. And that's the industry in a nutshell. I literally my close is, okay, I know you've heard that it takes a pretty Instagram photo and a nice banner.
Yeah.
to build a business, and I know that's what you'd rather do because you're scared of sales.
Yeah.
And I know this is what you've heard from this person that looks like they're rich on social media and living the millionaire life.
Instagram rich.
What I ask you is to look behind the curtain. Tell them to show you the bank account. Show me where they've run a business before they did their 5-day course.
Yeah.
You know, I'd listen to my mentors that have done no NLP, no coaching courses, a million times more than someone who thinks they come out of and can do some timeline therapy and they're a business coach.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
You know, and show me someone who's gone broke and come back.
Yep.
And I'll listen to them even more. Because that, you know, you see in Tony Robbins, like he says about the life cycle of business, they could be just on the growth period.
That's right.
They haven't had the punch in the face yet.
Yeah. I'll give you, when I first started my sales career, I was operating in an engineering infrastructure product market. So I was selling a generic product and service to an industrial market at the peak of the mining boom, right? So I wasn't selling. I was going out and collecting orders. People were just throwing money at us, and I thought I was the greatest sales professional on planet Earth. And then 2008 came, 2009, and nobody had any money, and you had to actually go out and sell and provide value and chase it. And I had to learn everything all over again, because what I'd learned was how to go and collect an order, and I was told and paid and remunerated on being great, this great sales guy. Was fucking hopeless, absolutely hopeless. And I had to learn how to do it all over again. And it was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me.
Mate, it sounds like me. Like I was in the car industry and I was selling Volkswagens right as that whole scandal happened with the emissions.
Yeah.
I was just on the way out the door then, and I was like, and I wanted to top the sales on the way out, just to say, like, just to, you know, the mic drop. I had to do the mic drop. But that was challenging, and like you have that. And that's going to happen in business, not just if you're a salesman. That's going to happen in business where, you know, how do you know someone's not eyeing off to come and be your competition?
Yeah,
how do you know someone's not going to come out and sue you, or there's going to be a recall on a product and like some sort of disaster? And that's where, like Ed Milet says, like he said on his syndicate call, like that's when the real entrepreneurs come back.
Yeah.
He's like, when the systems are no longer working and you've got to go back to the entrepreneurial mind to rebuild your business. That's when you've got to create something. So, mate, what made you finally take a stand? Take a stand. Like, what was it really like? I know you said you're tied to a desk, but what made you really just bite the bullet and like I don't know. Like, I know we're confident guys, and we're going to, like, you're going to be bigger than Amazon. But there's like, what keeps you confident on a day-to-day basis? Because there people be out there saying you're crazy, even now. Like, how did you take that stand and go, you know what? There's something more in this world for me. What did you do?
Oh, it's just about. I suppose it was people say they want to win, right? Now this is probably an immaturity thing for me, but I think I fear losing as much, if not more, than wanting to win. And you know, I could see the writing was on the wall. What I was doing professionally was tied very closely to the mining consumables market. Commodity prices were going, you know, down at a rate of knots. It wasn't sustainable, and I knew that I had to do something different. Now, I could have just gone and got another job doing something similar in the corporate space, or I thought to myself, you know, I could have a crack at this, do something where I can really become free. And I'm not talking about, you know, everyone says, oh, financial freedom, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about being able to do what the fuck I want to do, you know, to be able to come and sit with you today and do this. And when we were mapping out our business plan, we were these little bitch voices that Andy Frisella talks about.
Yeah.
Our own self-worth. Shane and I were actually having these conversations. So we were mapping out, okay, when are we going to do it? When are we going to take this stance? To your point, when are we going to take this stance to do it? And we'd say, okay, what we want to do is we want to have X. So we said to ourselves, we want to have this much money in the bank, we want to have this much stock, and we want to have this much buffer. And then we did that. And then we went, no, that's not enough, because we doubted ourselves. So we kept moving that goalpost. And it got to a stage where we thought, we can either do this for the rest of our lives and keep putting it off and making excuses and not trusting ourselves, or we can just go all in and be able to do it. And Shane, I don't think on your podcast he shared this story, but he tells a story. I haven't heard him say it for a while now, though, that he wanted to get a haircut one day. So this is when he was selling cars. He was working in a high-paced environment. He's doing 6-7 days a week, and he needed a haircut. And he had to physically go and speak with his boss and say, mate, I need to get a haircut. I need to duck out for an hour. And he can't do it today, mate. What about tomorrow? And then something would come up tomorrow. Oh, you're going to have to do it next week. And he literally had to book in 2 weeks in advance to get a haircut, right? Now, because he's working from when hairdressers are open to close for either side. And there's a million instances of similar things there in my life for me. And we just sort of, that's fucking it. All in, let's go. And,
it's amazing. Yeah, I had a similar thing with moving to the Gold Coast. Even I'd gone from being busted ass financially, and I'd built businesses through property and like running some other businesses, and I'd got back to where I was like free. Like I actually got to the point where I was like, well, I don't really need to show up. I don't need to do anything. I built the systems. I was all right, and I was talking to my business coach, and he said, so what are you going to do now? And I said, I guess the goal would be to move to the Gold Coast. I've wanted to do it since I was like 12 or 13. I've always wanted to live at the Gold Coast. And he said, so when's that happening? I said, in the next 12 months. Yeah. I'll do it within the next 12 months. He said, well, what's preventing you from doing it now?
Yeah, what's the hold up?
And I was like, well, I've got to be responsible. I've got to make sure that my other business is going right, and I've built my coaching business. Yeah. And he said, I'm really curious, mate, but are you making this decision from a place of fear?
Yeah.
And I was like, no way, man. I'm so personally developed. I'm being responsible. Like when I see fear, I run at it now because I'm so personally developed. Yeah. And then I still remember I was ranting. I can even point to it on the floor at the old house. And I just ran, and then the penny dropped that I was being completely full of shit.
Yeah.
And I was totally coming from a place of fear. Yeah. And I was just going to put it off I could put it off for another 15 years.
Yeah. We would have done the exact same thing if, Shane's haircut really, we're talking. I remember sitting there telling him, mate, that's fucking, because I like to have fun and I like to shit stir, as you know, very well. So I went and got a haircut when he was telling about it. I said, mate, this is the best haircut I've ever had. Run your fingers through this. How good does that feel? He said, oh, fuck, because we'd spend a lot of time with each other at like 2 a.m. building this business. You can't go get a haircut at 2 a.m. And his haircut really did it, because we would have just kept putting it off and off and off for another 15 years, like you said. And
you're saying like a $20 haircut made you millions of dollars.
It did, yeah, absolutely. It gave us a kick that we needed.
That's sensational, yeah. Like what I would have missed is, and the podcast can't appreciate where we're sitting, but like I'm literally sitting on the beach, like seven floors up, looking out to New Zealand, and I would have missed. I've been here for 2 years, so I guess like 2 years worth of sunrises.
Yeah.
I can't say I've been awake for every single one, but I do make a point of getting up for most of them, and I appreciate it every day.
Mm.
And had I not just had someone call me on that bullshit, I could be I wasn't doing it tough down there. I was still living in a nice area, but I would have missed out on this. My kids are happier. My wife's happy. Like, imagine being able to stop listening to your own bullshit and give your wife the opportunity and your kids the opportunity to live with a sunrise.
Right. Well, you're saying that, when you're talking to this guy, you're saying, that's something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to live on the Gold Coast since I was a kid, and he's called on your bullshit and said, just do it. I remember looking back, my first overseas trip was when I was on my honeymoon. I think it was 24 or something. I got married young. First overseas trip, and it was just to Fiji, so you could swim there. And I remember looking at these people who I used to work with, who were like my bosses, and they'd always be going on these international holidays. And I used to say, geez, I'd love to travel. I've always had a passion to travel. I want to do that. One day I'm going to do that. One day I'm going to do that. One day I'm going to do that. And if we didn't take these leaps to do things and stop listening to our own bullshit, we'd never do it. And like you said, all of a sudden you're 70 years old and you've been doing the same thing day in, day out, and you haven't experienced or moved to the Gold Coast or done whatever it is that you want to do, because you keep, talking shit to yourself when you're coming from a place of fear, and you say to yourself you're not worthy. What happens if it doesn't work? I can't. You always find a reason or an excuse not to do it. The time is now. There is no better time than now. Just have a go and do it. In the last, I can't remember even the numbers now, but it's something like the last 30 months we've been in and out of 35 countries. Some of the older was the same ones a couple of times, but 5 years ago I was sitting there going, geez, I'd love to go overseas. I've been a basketball fan since I was a kid. Geez, I'd love to, go and watch an NBA game. I've seen dozens of them. It's
Yeah, I'd never travelled overseas until just before 10X, GrowthCon, the first one. Never been overseas, and I had not even taken Vicky on a proper holiday.
Yeah.
Until 12 years into our marriage.
Yep.
It was always just look, I'll take Friday afternoon off and I'll be back Sunday night.
Yeah.
That was the best I could do, and all for what? Because remember in my timeline, in my story, all that money I was saving up for that big win didn't happen for me.
Yeah.
I got that thing happened where I got punched in the face. The market decided that I needed to level up.
Yep.
So it took me back to zero. Some may think a little bit below zero.
Yeah.
And I had to do it again. And it's literally the best thing I did. The best thing that's happened for me. Because now I am completely no one's going to pull the rug out from underneath me.
Yeah.
Again. And I'm doing it even more on my own. And in that time, I've flown, I've been to GrowthCon. I've been I've helped build the fire for 15,000 people at LA for Tony Robbins. I've met all these amazing, Ed Milet. I've got met Andy Priscilla, all these things, all these guys that, and here's my point. You're listening to Uncle Billy Bob or Arnie Mavis tell you that it's not the right time, that real estate is dangerous, that starting your own business is wrong, that the crash is coming. The crash is coming, and so is Christmas. It's going to come.
Yeah.
Why not listen to someone like Nathan or Shane or me, if I'm the guy, saying, yes, you can? Because there was a point in time where we also were just about to do something. We had big dreams, and then we just decided to do it. And we're telling you that, yes, it can work.
Yeah.
Are we guarantee you it's going to work the first time? No. It's probably work it out. It's probably a 3 out of 10 that it's going to be a disaster, and probably a 7 out of 10 that it's going to work. They're good odds.
You talk about the tall poppy syndrome. So we've got a story of our business. We've took from $0 to $6 million in 12 months, and we use that as a headline quite regularly. And we get a lot of crap from that. Look at you, show pains, blah 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 blah. But we talk about things too. I don't even know if you know this story. There's a business called Tisa. Have you ever heard of this?
The only reason why I think I've heard about that is because was it in when Shane rang me?
Yeah.
I think that phone number came up on my, it actually tells me what company.
Oh, yeah. It's Tisa. So we had a little bit of success in factory buys, and we're like, right, we're going to go on to the next thing. So I'll give the Reader's Digest version here. We built a new business called Tisa, and Tisa stood for Total Industrial Equipment Suppliers Australia. We found a supplier that had warehouses full, massive warehouses in Melbourne full of farming equipment, agricultural equipment, log splitters, all this type of stuff. And we thought, okay, there's an opportunity in the market here. Nobody's doing this online. We're going to take this online. We're really good at doing it online. Done, basically let's set it up. So we invested all this money, Shane, myself, and another guy, set up businesses, just threw a heap of money at it. And one thing that we didn't stop to think of was the customer. And, we very quickly understood that the reason it's not online is because Billy Bob, who's writing a check for a tractor and a log splitter at a trade show in the middle of nowhere, who doesn't own a fucking computer, has got no interest of buying this shit online. And it was a disaster. We since deregistered the business with ASIC. It's closed. We've let it down. It was a total fuck up. Cost us, I don't know, might cost the extra one cost us 20 grand. And yeah, that's just an example that, that's one of the percentages that when it doesn't work. But will there be more that we have a go at? I'm always looking for the next thing. Will I fuck something up again? Absolutely. Will there be something else that comes on that makes me money? Absolutely. But you've got to, back yourself and enough to have a go. So.
And don't listen to the people that aren't a snapshot of your future results.
No. Don't listen to your mother-in-law. I learned that one too. Oh, my God. You want to go to Fiji, right? What if there's a coup? We're going to take the kids to Disneyland, right? I've never, ever in my wildest dreams could have imagined going to Disneyland as a kid. I said, I want to take my kids to Disneyland. So take my kids to Disneyland. What if there's a terrorist attack? When I was going to go out on my own in business, is that secure for the financial security of your family? Same thing, what you just said. Don't take advice from people who have never done it. They're just sitting there coming from a place of negativity, living in fear themselves. So don't listen to it. Do not listen to it.
Yeah, take advice from people who are successful in life, and even better, successful in something that you want to be also successful in. Like if I wanted to take a business to online and be successful at it, I wouldn't go talk to my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Unless she was like successful in that, which that's neither here nor there. Or the Uber driver. Don't take advice from an Uber driver unless they're like literally,
giving you advice on how to become a good Uber driver.
Yeah, exactly. Like make sure you have the mints in there and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And the bottle of water.
Yeah.
But you'd listen to Shane. You'd listen to, well, you might argue with that. Don't listen to Shane.
No, that's right.
But obviously, I'm taking huge advice from people that are $1 million earners in the network marketing industry.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to the coach that couldn't succeed in network marketing and decided to become a coach.
You gave up after on that 6-week mark.
Yeah, the 6-week mark. Yeah, we talk about that. Yeah. So anyway, mate, I think this has been massive value. I think this has been a really cool way to do the podcast, just to have an amazing conversation and share some stories. And I guess for me,
well, first of all, don't worry to all your listeners, because you'll be get rid of me real soon, and Christine's going to be back. So be thankful, grateful there.
I tell you what, I nearly did. I nearly didn't bother recording the video because we're not helping the views. We need Christine on here to lift the gradient.
Where is the video going to be streamed? Because I listen to it on the podcast app on Apple now.
So I got it on so it's on all the different podcasts thing, but I put it on YouTube. There's a YouTube channel called Boss Talks.
I should have been looking at the camera.
Yeah, no, it's all good, mate. I was thinking maybe we should just have the microphone there because it's probably looks better. But no, that's it, man. It's been a good chat, and really, really appreciate you coming here. And look, Nathan probably wouldn't usually do this, but where can they find you, mate? You're helping people. You say you got clients, and
sure.
Where do they find you?
Yeah, mate. So you can get me on social media. Facebook, it's Nathan Longhurst, or Instagram, it's nlonghurst. You can head over to the website, nathanlonghurst.com. You can go really old school and Google my phone number and ring me if you want. But
nice.
That's the best you'll find me. So
and if you want to see how digital businesses are built and see what a good one looks like, go to factorybuyers.com.au and check them out there. That's where you're going to find the guys. And the reason why I love that business is because it looks like you're having fun.
Mate, we are.
Not boring.
And I'm a huge believer in if you can't have fun while you're doing it, don't do it. Go find something else to do. But no, we do. We've got a good mix. Shane and I, as far as business partners go, we're mates first. So we don't agree on everything, but we always nut it out at the end, and we have a great time. And if you go to factorybuyers.com.au, I can promise you, you will never, ever, ever fucking get rid of us, because we're going to retarget the shit out of you. We're going to be on every single one of your social platforms. You'll never see the end of us. So head over there and check it out.
And then it's I had a friend who signed up to One Thing of Grant Cardone's.
Yep.
And he counted 38 unsubscriptions.
Yep.
And he's still getting them.
Still getting them.
So there's some retargeting going on there. So, mate, before we go, tell me about the 75 hard. What's it done for you?
Oh man, it's good. So, I know your listeners will know what 75 Hard is because you've spoken about it previously on podcast. So I won't go into that, but mate, it's awesome. So we've got an accountability group here in Australia. We've got a couple of people internationally that are in it as well, as you know. I like to have a bit of fun in that group. I've got one guy who's either going to hug me or punch me when I see him next. Just today in that group, we're giving a bit of stick to, but
they're easy targets, mate. You got people from Canada there.
Yeah, that's right.
Easy targets.
Got a little Colombian man who's a bit fiery at the moment too. Which
he needs to be. He needs to fire up.
He needs to fire up. But if you listen to this, Charlie, stop making excuses and get on with it, mate. I'm only kidding. You're definitely not doing that at all. But no, it's been really good. So we've got a group of people who are holding each other accountable. I'm actually a very competitive person by nature, and I'm using it to drive me. So I'm not a runner. So I know you and Shane are definitely runners, and I've never run 10Ks before in my life. And I see you guys doing it consistently. So I gave myself a chance. I was going to do it in 30 days. I failed miserably, probably 15 times at doing it, but I got it done for the first time last week. So the first time I've ever run 10K straight in less than an hour was last week. So I'm happy with that. I'm on to my third book. I'm learning a lot. My mindset is that sharp. I'm changing the way that I do things. I'll give you an example. This morning we had a meeting with a supplier of ours in the US. So because of the time zone difference, that meeting for us was local time 6 or 6:30 a.m. So usually I'm going to the gym as part of this program at that time in the morning. Now, pre-75 Hard, I would have just cancelled the gym, not gone or gone to it later. But, it's giving you that drive, and, it's getting rid of that bitch voice to tell you to stop making excuses and putting things off, like going to the gym. So I got up 2.5 hours earlier. I was up at 3 o'clock this morning, went to the gym, did that first, then went and did the meeting that I had to do. So I'm not putting it off or substituting. I'm just, getting shit done. I'm finding myself I'm being a lot more direct with people, as we spoke about previously. I'm a very direct person by nature already. I don't use, 12 words when 5 will do.
Yeah.
But no, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's not a physical transformation challenge or program at all, but that's definitely one of its added bonuses as well. So I'm feeling healthier. I'm learning lots from the reading, making good decisions, getting shit done, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you want that? Although, like I've seen a lot of people just not even want to take it on, not even want to try. Yeah, not even want to try. They're just like, no, I can't do that. It's too absolute.
Yeah. To go back to this tall poppy syndrome, I've got people who I actually generally believe would benefit from this program, and I spoke to them about it early on. And you get hit with things like, I don't need to do that. I'm not fat, or everyone thinks it's a body transformation thing. Obviously, it's not. When you explain it to them, they hear what they want to hear. Or I'm going to take my water consumption intake advice from a nutritionist, not some dickhead in America, talking about Andrew Purcell. I'm going, well, this is the exact reason you are where you are in life, because you're just so.
In comes the direct,
short-minded, and keep taking that advice from mum and dad who haven't done it.
Heaven forbid you listen to a guy who owns a supplement company and works with the fittest people on the planet. Not only that, he's best mates with Ed Milet, and looking like him at his age I'd be pretty happy with that.
I think he's only something pissy small, like 340 million a year US in revenue. It's just
he wouldn't know what he's talking about.
That's right. Well, why would you listen to that?
Mate, it's the cheap seats. It's the cheap seats, and I don't want to sit in those, and I don't want to throw at anyone. And you're gonna get shit on you if you're in the arena. So just go for it. I think that wraps it up, man. I think just freaking go for it. So yeah, thanks for joining us, and hey, share it out, and let us know what you think.
Awesome. Cheers, guys.
Damn. Yeah.